Fast forward in our channel, so how AG's politics are getting. Political stories are trending because make headlines. And a general need to be action. We need a mom show say more in Simo. Only a quick one. After election, our Piano. In say and since some talk about but aftermath of it, and you say, Sir IGP, born homodiano, and so what teaching Kophobia. A BNDC for any MPP for, and when a bit of what tracks here, and then no say, more a Jim Renomo, I am some Pensimo, Pintia, a Black Mariano, or the Ebaho, so Swampa, or for a chief woman, whom you must train over movie and as you could see, say, Jawomana, young Courtney, and Yako and the
it has those qualities. It's very important, human relation. Is it the case that you even greet people when you meet them or at all? And is it the case that you are now coming to do so because you are contesting?
Exactly.
From a cynical perspective, like those looking at development project that you are doing now, you want to motivate them to vote for you. They will look at it from a cynical perspective.
Yes.
It will annoy them. Some it will annoy them and they will vote against you. Others will look at it from a positive perspective. But human relation is important in politics.
Very.
It's important.
I see.
Because some of them, they say this person is arrogant, and that tag arrogance, right? Wherever you go, if that tag, if you end that tag, my goodness.
I'll let you.
You will struggle.
You tell us a bit more, because I want us to look at, again, we are in the period where there will be a lot of jubilation that, you know, a losing opponent will consider taunting. And I want us to discuss just a little bit of what security should look like. But at the end of our conversation today, I also hope to answer the question of whether or not this is a referendum on the national executives of the NPP, more so. Because we already know the things that have been brewing within the party, and the outcome of today's election could either be in their favor or against them. But what you're seeing on your screen at this time is what Akwetia constituency looks like now. The heavy traffic buildup, the pockets of jubilation in certain areas, particularly in places like Takorasi, where there was an overwhelming lead for NDC's Bernard Bediako Beidu. You see the traffic over there, long line of traffic. You're also seeing heavy police presence on the ground. The police has already told us that they will ensure law and order is adhered to. So occasionally that's why you see their blue-red lights in the traffic. You see the men in black as well, wading through crowds and walking through vehicular traffic as well. So there you have it, live pictures of what Akwetia looks like right now as counting is ongoing. Again, I told you that we have updated the numbers from the Coalition Center of the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Initially, we had announced some 50 polling stations. Remember, there are 119 polling stations. We announced 50 of them. Now we have 18 more. That makes it 68 polling stations of 119. And it also means that there are 51 polling stations more. What we know, and the gentleman will bring us the figures shortly, what we know right now is that the NDC's Bernard Bediako Beidu is still in the lead. You can get details of it if you can't wait for the gentleman to come on your screen. At the bottom of our screen at this time, those figures are running. You can take a look at that as well. But shortly, Alfred and Blay should be able to give us a breakdown of the latest figures that we're getting in right now. In the meantime, I'll come to the desk real quick because I want us to look at post-announcement security arrangement. We have said so far so good, right? But what are your expectations post-announcement?
I think IGP will leave quite a number of the policemen and women there for tonight and tomorrow, probably for about 3 days before they will be retrieved.
How about tonight? How about
tonight also,
when,
yes.
When, you know, the announcement is made and the jubilation is full scale.
They are on duty. The police is on duty. And I believe that strategic locations have been assigned to groups of policemen and women to man those locations. I believe that almost every drinking spot has 2 or 3 policemen and women overseeing that, so that no violence breaks out. So considering what has been happening, I do believe that IGP will leave some of the policemen and women in place for maybe a day or 2 after the announcement is made, because that's when also violence also break out, and they will make sure that nothing happens. And that's why I said earlier, this is a pilot study.
And we have to make use of our 93 million cedis also, assuming that projection
96
is true.
million.
96 million cedis. Assuming that projection is the true fact of the matter.
It's bigger than that.
Right. You think it will be more
yes,
than that.
It is.
But we have to make use of it, right?
Yes.
If we are piloting this for future elections,
yes,
then would have to see real value for money.
We have to.
This cannot be replicated anywhere in any general election.
At all.
It is not sustainable. We
I
cannot
mean, you should have a little
but
faith
it is
in the
just
police.
going to... we will replicate it, right, in about 10% of it in the national elections. But that being said, you see, post-announcement security,
now,
right?
I'm going to come to you to tell us about post-announcement security arrangement, because I even want, Dr. Norman to break it down a little further, right, in terms of what your expectation of the arrangement should be. But Alfred, I have been announcing for, a tad bit that we are seeing new numbers come through. What are you looking at?
Absolutely, and just a bit about the security situation. We'll touch base on the ground in a bit, just to have an idea of how things are playing out. But I tell you what, I mean, the integrity of the process also impacts on the security situation, because if the integrity of the process is low, then that would also create a fertile ground for the violence that we've seen characterize elections gone by. So far, we haven't had any of the parties raise any serious concerns about the integrity of the process right from morning up until now. So we'll see how things play out. Let's go to the coalition center. This coalition center is where the entire integrity of this process that started at 7 a.m. will end. And that will determine whether or not the political parties will affirm or disprove the integrity of this entire by-election conducted by the Electoral Commission. Eric Mana is just there with me right now. Mana, now we do know that the results from the polling stations are trickling into the coalition center thick and fast by the second, and the presiding officers, as expected, doing their job over there. Paint to us what's happening on the dashboard at the coalition center regarding the results coming through from the polling station.
Last update we got, I'm just gonna show that or go through the numbers with viewers. We've done 68 out of the 119 polling stations. Let me just try and zoom in a bit on the numbers as we've seen it. We've seen Asimedu Solomon, who is the NPP's candidate, polling 8,101. And then Bernard Bediako Beidu, he's doing 10,461. Then Owusu Patrick, who's the LPG candidate, is doing 49. We've seen rejected ballots at 127, and then the total vote cast based on the 68 polling stations at 18,738. We're left with 51 more to go. That number will go up pretty shortly, but we've been able to make ourselves or our way outside now, and let's just try and show you a lot more of the things I was describing to you a lot earlier. I told you that there were police officers who were manning a desk where, when the EC officials come with the ballot box and the material. They go there, their names are ticked to signify which specific polling station they are coming from, and then they make their way to the back. A lot of what I described is what we've just seen play out right now, just before our eyes, in terms of what is outside here at the Collation Center. And I mentioned more at the Walker Club. That's where at GCD, that's where the collation is happening at. I described the sort of security presence this place has been engulfed in, or is currently engulfed in, and that's it in your shot as well, Alfred, in terms of the level. I think my colleague Stanley Nible had indicated that there were a number of men who were marching towards this particular area. The only thing I told him was that I doubt they'll make it to the Collation Center if we want to describe the sheer numbers of police presence we've seen here. And that's just a picture for you in terms of what this place looks like. It's heavily guarded, heavily policed, a riot gear from the police officers present and waiting. Even when you make your way all the way through that final barrier I was talking to you about, where you have to have your name ticked, and that's where the pickup vehicles which accompanies the ballot boxes and then the presiding officers, they stop at that gate, and then the officials come in with the police officers to have their names ticked here before they go behind. Then they wait for their turn, then they come into the desk which is inside, which we've been showing viewers, and then they tabulate, they declare, or they announce openly, they scream that the numbers out, and then that is tabulated, and then we get to see it after a number of polling stations come through. That is projected on the screen as well. And so this is what the outside looked like. Unfortunately, I couldn't show viewers a lot earlier when we interacted the two times, but this is what it looks like outside. And then the inside, I had described where the police personnel had been stationed. That's on my left side right now. They are stationed just a few meters away from here. And the field, which I spoke to as well, is just on my right hand side as well. The entire area is very well barricaded. And you're seeing the bars of the Ghana Police Service as well moving towards that direction, that left-hand side direction I was talking about. Now on my right, because I'm facing the area as well. But you see police officers all over this place, meaning that it will be a difficult task for anybody to want to come here and then be able to disrupt the process which is currently underway, Alfred.
About the 4 checks and a thorough detail you give to us there. It's very, very, very important emphasis on the measures that have been put in place at the entrance, even before you get to the Collation Center. And that's what Dr. Ismail Norman has been mentioning. Let's go. Now, Marna is inside the Collation Center and just within the immediate radius of the Collation Center, and he's going to go back inside. But this is what's happening just outside of the Collation Center. Let's go a bit further from the Collation Center now, and Joseph Armstrong is there for us. As we indicated, there are 4 checkpoints before you get to the Collation Center itself. Now, Joseph is at the first checkpoint area. That's way beyond the immediate radius. But that also paints a story, because there's a lot of activity there as expected, because a number of people who are sitting on tenterhooks right now waiting for the official declaration by the returning officer of the Electoral Commission in the Akwatia constituency. Joseph Armstrong Goldalogbe, tell me, what's happening where you are? Hello, Joseph?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, okay, so I'm stationed at the main entrance getting to the Collation Center, and we started to see bringing in new buses that have already been collected from the various polling stations, and they are now making their way to the Collation Center. They can see them. There's a traffic station here. It's very difficult for the police to control the traffic. We are making their way to the Collation center now. Relation to, you see, both of the special police force and that the military position and the officers are all here into the police vehicle, and you don't have to have them. They will not allow you access to the media as well. If you go here without accreditation, they are not allowed access to the military center. So exactly that's what is happening here now. You see many more of the police vehicles carrying the boxes making their way to the coalition center. So this raid has been brought to the only vehicles carrying the boxes are allowed into the state. This is a way to the coalition center without properly being set, and also the police ensuring that.
Well, I'm sorry, unfortunately, I'm losing you. So now we apologize for that cranky nature of the connection to Joseph Armstrong. But Armstrong, if you could just show us exactly what's happening, because you talk about the traffic situation. We see a number of these Metro Mass Transit buses as well making their way to the coalition center. We understand these are the buses that are carrying some security personnel and also the presiding officers at the various polling stations. And we see the Ghana Police Service bus as well that has a number of police personnel also in the bus making their way to the coalition center. You heard earlier the IGP, Christian Tete Yehuno, make the point about the reinforcement that will be deployed to this coalition center because it's an important, in fact, right now it is the most important location in the Akwatia constituency, this coalition center. So we've seen some measures, security measures put in place at the coalition center, a number of police vehicles filled with police personnel making their way to the coalition center. Quite a number of them. You see a convoy of police vehicles there right now making their way to the coalition center. And we understand some of these police pickups have the returning officers in there and the police personnel, the reinforcement that the IGP talked about as well. We're seeing them make their way to the coalition center. That's what you're seeing on the screen right now here on TV3. And it clearly tells you how serious this process in terms of the system structures, mergers, and also the strategy that the Ghana Police Service deployed. It's a round-the-clock 360 approach because before the elections, during, and at the last moment, as we are seeing right now, which is when the official declaration will be made by the Electoral Commission, it's a crucial part of this entire exercise. So a lot of concentration as well has been paid to how this process is going to end. And now we're getting to know that there are 4 different checkpoints before you get to the coalition center itself. And every checkpoint has specific demands that they also look out for. That is the police personnel who are manning these checkpoints look out for. So we've indicated earlier that even just an ID card is not enough to have you get in. There's a list of approved individuals who are going to be allowed to go into this coalition center. If your name is not on the list, the police personnel manning these checkpoints, 4 of them, have express instructions from the IGP not to allow you in. In fact, Mawana did indicate that a former member of parliament for the area, Alhaji Baba Jamal, had a tough time trying to get in because at the time, in fact, he had not been given the official approval to be at the coalition center. That's how serious the police is taking this entire exercise of ensuring some level of sanity and orderliness at this coalition center. So if you don't have any accreditation, approval, official approval to be there, showing up and showing your ID or thinking that the people would know who you are, and what you've done in the constituency, that's not enough. They're going by strict instructions, and as a result of what's happening, we see, unfortunately, vehicular traffic that is building up at that area, and the people in Akuffo would have to endure this at least for the next, at least 1 hour ahead of us, all things being equal. From what we do know is that the results are trickling in thick and fast to the Electoral Commission Coalition Center. The dashboard is capturing the entire picture that the presiding officers are sending in terms of the results to the Coalition Center in that constituency where Eric Mane Gbetaye is. So shortly, we'll go back to the Coalition Center. We'll show you the dashboard of the Electoral Commission at the Coalition Center, where the presiding officers, when they send the results from the polling station, it reflects directly on the dashboard of the Electoral Commission in the Coalition Center. So that's what's happening right now. And in fact, as a result of the traffic situation, the police personnel have had to alight from the buses. They are walking to the Coalition Center right now. And you see the Black Maria, this Black Maria van of the police service, Dr. Ishmael Norman will tell us the strategic installation of the Black Maria, because the IGP did indicate prior to today that the Black Maria is going to be there. This is a prison on wheels. And this Black Maria vehicle is the prison on wheels. If you mess up, they're not going to just put you in handcuffs. They will put handcuffs on you and put you in this van. This is a moving prison. Yes, that's what you have there, Black Maria. I don't know why they decided to name Maria. Maria is a nice name, is it not? But yeah, yeah. But,
don't crack us up this evening.
Yeah.
But I think one person was arrested earlier today and placed in the Black Maria. Now, because you said Black Maria, so it sounds really good. So we'll go with Black Maria instead of
Black
prison
Maria.
on wheels.
It's actually written on the van.
Yeah, I know. I know, but yes, you're absolutely right about whether or not its placement there is as part of police operations, did anything at all. Well, like we know it did something, or whether or not it put fear in people is a different conversation, right? I wonder what you think, Dr. Norman.
Oh, I just love the name
Black Maria.
Black Maria. It shows that the police IGP here understands the concept of prison and punishment. It's not supposed to make you an enemy, but rather to mellow you and calm down and treat you like a mother. Black Maria is like
bring your mayhem to your mother.
Exactly.
Black Maria.
Black Maria.
Oh my, I like that. I like the thought.
Me too.
I like the
that.
thought behind it.
Unfortunately, a friend sent me a message. How come nobody was put in a Black Maria?
Oh, one person was.
One person is not probably enough for some people. They wanted to see a lot more. But there were two of them, which meant that one was for NPP and the other for NDC. Because if they are fighting, you cannot put the two of them in the same Maria.
Right.
Because the same mother cannot take care of them. So you have to separate them. And I just like the thinking that went behind all of that. So for this time around, IGP has really done well. But that's why.
Good job to the police.
It's a good job.
Good job to
Truly.
the police. But gentlemen, you have something.
We ain't small with him cause channel so north so game ewa hada sene so body no e dia dum bi adum ni be san shim na ya sumu kwasun so ko ha ag politics happen.